This is the setup for Cobra CT5B, E-mini S&P in multi-charts using the money management algorithms. Here is the equity curve of the base strategy. You see this going back to the date we set is to November 1997, which is the beginning of the E-mini S&P trading intraday. Here is the equity curve with the drawdown curve. On the base strategy, here is the strategy performance summary. You see max strategy drawdown of $6,000, close to close trade drawdown 57.12.50. The trade analysis is 958 trades with $40.49. And so let's take a look at the settings on setting this up. So first of all, you want to set up the data. You have 4 data sets at ES, and this is the day session. You can use at ES.D if you're in TradeStation, but the .D symbol is just the day session, but most platform data feeds don't have day session only, or many don't. So what you can do is you set up at ES, or the symbol for the E-mini S&P, and you use this CME Equity Index Futures Open Outcry to get the day session. Then you put the date in, use the local time setting, and these are the settings that you need to have set up for the E-mini S&P 3-minute chart. And then the NYSE tick is 5-minute charts, and here are the settings. Use the default session, 5-minute for NYSE tick, and then you use the VIX, the daily chart default session. That is the setting for the VIX. The symbols vary depending on your data feed. And then you have the day session for the E-mini S&P, and this one is tricky. I want to make sure you understand this. We're not using the 1 day, because if your symbol is a 24-hour symbol, you want to make sure that it is 405 minutes on this session, because from 8:30 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. there is 405 minutes, so it will generate 1 bar and represent the day session on a 405-minute bar. So you want to make sure that if you have a 24-hour symbol that you're using, you don't use the 1 day, but you use 405 minutes using the CME Equity Index Futures Open Outcry Custom session template. This comes inside of MultiCharts. You don't have to set it up. Some of the templates we set up that aren't in MultiCharts, but this one is in MultiCharts. And so those are the data settings for setting up Cobra CT5B. Then you want to, the signal that you want to use is Capstone Cobra CT5B Fix Rev 2, and you want to also have close at end of day. And so here are the settings, the default settings that we use. Monthly loss, that's based on an end of trade basis. If you come into the day and you're down 400 on the month and you have a stop loss of 500, you could still it could still be down more than 500 on the month, because it won't stop intra-trade. It's based on an end of trade basis, so you could be down about 1,000 on the month, even though this monthly stop loss is set to 500. Then you set all these other settings the way they are set up based on Eastern Standard Time. And if your computer is on a different time zone than Eastern Standard Time, then you'll need to change these time-based inputs, which are start time, finish time, and exit time, for your difference from Eastern Standard Time. So that, for example, if you're in Central Standard Time, this would be 10 o'clock, this would be 1400, this would be 1512. And so that is the setup. Make sure you insert strategy, close at end of day. This comes with MultiCharts. And then you select close, and you have it all set up. Then you want to insert the MM1 save indicator here at the bottom. You just simply go in here and insert, and then you want to insert the study, actually the indicator, and then MM1 save. It's already inserted, so I'm not going to say okay. I'm going to say cancel. And now you can apply the money management algorithm. So what you want to do is create another 1-minute chart. You don't have to have the sub data sets, because it's just looking at the chart on the left. And so you just create a 1-minute chart of the CME Equity Index Futures Open Outcry. And for the same time setting, if you use TradeStation, you can go back to 1997. Other platforms may or may not have that much data, so you have to decide what your settings will be based on how much data you have. Then you you want to insert the signal. I've already inserted the signal, so I'm going to format the signal. The signal that you would insert is MM1 Equity Curve Algorithm Rev 7.0, and that's based on the fact that we inserted the indicator MM1 Save Rev 7.0. You could, if you want to, use any of the others, MM0, MM2, MM3, MM4. You cannot use more than one. You cannot use this indicator more than once for the same symbol and same interval setting. We are using this same indicator in the VIX swing right now because it's on 60-minute charts, and this one is on 3-minute charts. And so as long as you have different symbol and interval combinations, you can continue to use MM1 Save Rev. So if you have 10 E-mini S&P strategies on 1-minute charts, you need to use a different MM1 Save Rev. Save Rev for each, such as, for example, MM0, MM1, MM2, MM3, since they map the data for the money management algorithm. And so once you insert the money management algorithm, you want to use these settings. You want to make sure the symbol is the same symbol as the one on the left. We see @ES because that's our symbol. If your data feed uses a different symbol, then it needs to be the symbol that you use to plot this chart on the left for data 1. The interval is for data 1, and contracts, it says one contract. Limit entry points is 1 and 1. And on this, we're simply using the moving average of the closed trade drawdown, or closed trade equity curve, and then the open equity curve. So we're using moving average of the closed trade equity curve and open equity curve. So open equity is bar by bar, closed equity is trade by trade. And so 10 and 20, we just simply use 10 and 20, 10 on the Rule 1 moving average L1 and L2, and the L1 and L2 on the open equity needs to be 10 and 20, so you're going to make sure it's up on both. And then max daily entries is 9:30 to 15:30 for longs and shorts. We set that entry time window to true. Exit time 16:12. $500 stop loss. Same. These settings are the same as the base strategy. We sync exit with the master. We set that to 1. So when the if the strategy on the left gets out and we're still in a trade on the right, once the end of the bar completes on this 3-minute chart, and then the strategy on the right, the money management algorithm will then exit if there is a mismatch in market position based on an end of bar basis for the chart on the left. So those are the settings. Now let's look at the performance summary going back, and you can see some improvement in this strategy. The average trade goes up by about $9 from 40 to about 49. We like to get to that sweet spot of right around 50. And you see less trades, 696 trades, $49.95, just right at $50, which is where we like to have it. And so here's the performance summary: 34.7, 62.50. The drawdown is less on this when you do this. Let's look at this again. So the max strategy drawdown 36.50, 34.37.50 on a closed trade to closed trade drawdown. So you get a lower drawdown and a higher average trade profit. Percent profitability 62.21%. This is a long only strategy, and this is how you set up Cobra CT5B E-mini S&P with its money management algorithm in MultiCharts.